Probably one of the best rivalries in the city when it comes to the football field. Great cut up the middle. He's got some space. Slips a couple tackles. Rodriguez to the pylon for the touchdown.
Excellent pass, but just as good a catch.
Joel Pastrana will not be caught.
Stopped at the 3, kept on churning, and finally got into the end zone.
Lambert breaks free. Jonathan Lambert up the middle. He's going to win the game. Throwing it up to Exelholm. What a catch.
We've seen some amazing games, but that was
one of the best we've seen in a long time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sartori Stadium in East Boston, as we bring you a matchup of two Boston North rivals here in Week 2 as the West Roxbury Raiders take on the East Boston Jets. Hello, everybody. I'm Pat Flaherty, joined by my partner, as always, Alan Platt. Alan, it's Week 2 here in BPS High School football. We got Eastie versus Westie. Normally, league play starts next week, but because for scheduling reasons, these two teams put this game in here today. This should be a fun one tonight.
It should be fun. Early in the season, like you said, both teams coming off wins in different ways to start the season, but I guess this is our annual trip to East Boston in September, right? Okay. And like you said, it's early. Usually the tensions are a little higher when you get into city league play.
That's right.
Okay, and that's what the coaches want to see. That's what the players want to see. Really spirited warm-ups. I mean, there was a slight delay with West Roxbury getting here a little late with some transportation issues, but once they got here, they were fired up as soon as they hit the field.
That's right, and they look like they're ripping and ready to go here to take on East Boston, a team they lost to by 2 last season. Now, both teams have lost some players to graduation, but some younger players have stepped up for both squads as well. On West Roxbury's side, it's Ismael Presume. He's their running back now.
Yeah.
He had 2 touchdowns last
first
week,
game,
so he's a player that has stepped up this season as a junior for the Raiders.
Oh, no doubt about that. And the Raiders last year sort of had an up and down season, but tough, sort of almost a heartbreaking loss to East Boston, like you mentioned, just a 2-point game. So some of these underclassmen who now this season are going to be either juniors or seniors, especially the seniors. They want to go out on a good note.
Without question, and seniors obviously love the league games because I know there's only a couple more times they can play these teams that they play every single season. Meanwhile, the other time for the East Boston Jets, it's Brandon Ortega who's our spotlight player tonight. We saw Brandon sort of come onto the scene last year, had double-digit touchdowns for the CST team. He's now the feature back.
That's what I was going to say. One of the things about East Boston over the years we've seen, because they have so many players who come out for the team, they always have a full squad, and especially with the skill positions. So Ortega is one of those kids who, as an underclassman, both a sophomore and a junior, got some playing time. You can see his skills, not huge, but very good inside running, very good speed when he gets to the outside. He is now a senior, so he's the feature back for East Boston.
That's right, 13 total touchdowns. Last year, he had the lone 2 touchdowns for East Boston last week in their 14-6 win over the New Mission Titans. So he will be getting the football a lot tonight, both carrying the football
and catching it.
And the ball through the air. So he's going to be a fun player to watch. Now, for more on this game, we're going to go to our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky, who's got a little tidbit for us. Seth, what do you have?
Thanks, guys. I had a chance to talk to West Roxbury head coach Derek Wright, and he said that his team's dealing with a little bit of a whirlwind of emotions. It all started during the offseason when former offensive lineman David Soto passed away from an overdose. Soto was a member of the team a year ago, an offensive lineman for the program, and it was a really tragic passing. So the team is dedicating this season to him. There's also a little bit of added emotion because of how last year's game ended against this Eastie side. Westie was leading into the fourth quarter, into the final minute before they gave up a game-tying touchdown and then the 2-point conversion. So there's a little bit of extra emphasis on this game, looking to get off to a 1-0 start in the Boston North. And as you can see down at field level, guys, it just started raining again. That is a fear for both coaching staffs. Both teams going with first-year starting quarterbacks. The coaches trust them, but they said that rain could be an issue. We'll see how it impacts the teams if we do, in fact, deal with rain throughout the night. Guys?
Thanks very much, Seth. And, of course, when we're here at East Boston, being right next to the water, right next to the airport,
you can get anything.
The weather can change within minutes. So we'll certainly keep an eye on the rain and
the winds.
Early
and
fall
no
weather.
Doubt.
Always windy here at East, so that should play a factor here as well. It's the East Boston Jets hosting the West Roxbury Raiders. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the opening kickoff here from Sartori Stadium in Eastie right after these words. Don't go away.
Red hat. Oops. Red shirt, blue shirt, yellow shirt. Oops. Yellow pants, red red pants, green pants. Oops.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke.
I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911.
Protect the ones you love.
Spot a stroke fast.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors.
Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Got a quarter?
You got a king?
Go fish. In your face, in your face.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework.
He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Sartori Stadium in East Boston for our Week 2 matchup between these two Boston North rivals. The West Roxbury Raiders take on the East Boston Jets. We're just about set to go here at Sartori Stadium in Eastie. And as Seth mentioned, certainly the West Roxbury Raiders coming to the season playing with a heavy heart. We've seen this before sort of in different ways. You know, obviously, you know, teams like Jeremiah Burke because of their coaching staff and O'Brien because of, Odin Lloyd, who passed away a couple of years ago. We all know why. And those type of things just fuel a team. So you see this West Roxbury team, and Seth mentioned how fired up they were during warm-ups. These type of things just get teams going, and sometimes they can carry a team through a season. Especially a short season. The Boston League is relatively short season, so as long as you can stay healthy, you're right, it emotionally can carry you. Football being a very physical game, emotion plays a huge role in how you're able to perform and, like you said, keep up that energy at all times. So we'll see. I mean, West Roxbury actually won the toss. They deferred the second half, so they'll be kicking off to start the game. So the East Boston Jets will be receiving there in the all-blue uniforms with the yellow trim. West Roxbury Raiders will be kicking off there, the white jerseys and the black trim.
It's sort of a new look, those black pants.
Yeah, but in the past they've been sort of black both or white both, but this time they're sort of mixing it up.
It's always nice to get new uniforms.
Oh, yes. Yeah, a lot of teams have picked up some new uniforms over the past 4 or 5 years, especially because of the Boston Scholar Athlete Foundation. So West Roxbury going to be kicking off. Number 80, Luis Pena. We're doing the kicking duties. Brandon Ortega back to receive, along with Casey Vasquez, who's wearing number 8 tonight. Excuse me, that's number 6. Fielding the football, Matt Findlay taking it down the sideline. No, that is Vasquez. So Casey Vasquez with the return up to the 37. We also got a late flag on the play.
So good job, as you mentioned, to get that squib kick around
the 20. Hold on a second, guys. What do you got?
Officials trying to sort things out. It's going to be a penalty on East Boston.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds, 34, 15 yards, and a first down.
It's unusual. You hardly ever see a personal foul on the receiving team, but a little action on the East Boston sideline will cost the Jets some field position, taken back to their 22-yard line.
The Jets will now start at the 22-yard line, their own 22-yard line, first down and 10. There's Dom Russo in his first season as the starting varsity quarterback. Handoff over the right side, and this time it's Ortega. Explodes out of the backfield up to the 35.
I'd say he's the main guy. I'm just not be surprised if see simple handoff. He's the one that West Roxbury should be keying on every play. I mean, East Boston has shown you over the years when they have a feature running back, especially, gets a lot of touches during the course of the game.
There are your starters for the Jets. Russo at quarterback, Ortega and Aruda in the backfield. Blake and Aiken will be catching passes for the Jets if they do throw the football. Eastie does not go to the air very often.
Well, it's the mist is out right now, so so for today, I really doubt if we'll see much at all.
We saw even last year Jeff Benzon, who was in his second year
Right.
as a starting quarterback. Coach Parziale, a lot of trust in him. They threw it a little bit more. He also had Joel Pastrana, who could run like the wind. So they threw it a little more last year than they normally do. This season, I think it's going to be a little different. Aruda now
first
getting
man
the carry.
through. Yeah.
He makes his way past the 45 up to the 46-yard line.
Simple fake by East Boston, thinking Ortega was going to get the ball. Instead, Aruda was able to get good gain. Another first down. We saw a game, 2 years ago where East Boston just ran, and they ended up not throwing the ball the entire second half. They threw like 2 passes in the first half. Second half, they just controlled the game on the ground.
That's right. That's when
special teams, right?
That's when Benzon was just starting as a starting quarterback. Now he got some early motion. That's going to be a false start on the
fullback,
Jets.
Matera trying to get into his block. Looked like it was going to be a sweep. That'll be a false start.
So Nate Matera with the early motion. That'll back up the Jets 5 back to the 40-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 15. You see Coach Parziale.
8 years now?
I believe it's his 8th season after about 8 years as an assistant coach under John Souza. And Coach Souza was here for about 13 years, I believe. So Coach Parziale now making his own mark as the head coach.
Oh, nice.
Now on first down, it's Ortega to the outside. Brandon Ortega down the sideline. Touchdown, East Boston.
Speed, and more speed. I tell you. Well, I think you might have been the first one to mention it tonight in the open about speed of Ortega.
Sure.
And that was a perfect example. Off tackle play, but linebacker overcommits 65 there, and then allows Ortega to pop to the sideline. Once he gets out, no one even near him. They didn't even make any headway on him. I mean, it looked like the safety might have had an angle, but he just outran that.
Coach Parziale mentioned that Brandon Ortega, he ran outdoor track in the spring, and it's helped his speed, and especially with track, that breakaway speed.
Right, exactly.
It's really going to, you're really going to see an improvement there when you run outdoor track. So we saw it there for Ortega, who had the big touchdown run. Now the Jets looking for the 2-point conversion. Handoff up to the big fullback, Matera. And Nate is able to get it in for the 2-pointer. So the Jets, after the big touchdown run from Brandon Ortega and the 2-pointer from Nate Matera, now on top 8-0.
You see Matera just sort of biting his way behind his safety and behind his center and his right guard. Simple offense. I mean, those were all the plays on that drive were inside, in between the tackle type handoffs. Nothing really outside until Ortega popped to the outside to run down the sideline.
Yes. 60-yard touchdown run for Brandon Ortega. 83-yard drive for the Jets.
He's off to a great start. 3 touchdowns now, as he had 2 last week in their win.
He had a 54-yarder last week. He topped that with the 60-yarder here tonight. So Eastie's on the board first. Now they'll be kicking off to Westy. We'll see if the Raiders can get a drive together. They scored over 50 points last week against Pope John. So you know their offense is capable. Here's Luis Pena bringing the ball back for the Raiders. Pena now down the left sideline. Luis Pena well into East Boston territory, brought down right around the 37.
Nice stutter step move by Pena. She sort of threw the coverage guys off. Watch, does a good job scooping the ball, but cut. Then he just sort of gets lost in the crowd there. Like I said, a little stutter step and add another 20 yards to his return.
27-yard return for Pena. And now the Raiders well into Eastie territory at the 37.
Oh, we've seen East Boston over the years always use that squib kick. Sometimes it's to their advantage if they have it bounce off one of the up guys.
Starters for the West Roxbury Raiders. Exelholm moving from receiver to quarterback this season. Ismail Presume, who we talked about before the game. Omo, Pena, and Roaches are some of the starting skill players for the Westy Raiders.
And those first 3 guys on the list, Exelholm, Presumi, and Omo, all had 2 touchdowns last week.
Omo also
against,
had a
Pope John.
Omo also had a pick 6 defensively. So all those guys know how to put the football in the end zone. You see Irvin Exelholm. Westy comes out in the wing T formation. Presume the deep back. And Exelholm going to take it himself on the keeper. Sweep over to the right side. And he gets up to about the 35-yard line. 2-yard pickup on the play.
It looked like it had some possibilities, but once you cut inside, that interior defense for East Boston shut him down. The cut right here, but then the East Boston players come up. Good job defensive end for Eastie. Stefantes on the tackle. You mentioned Exelholm. I remember a couple of years ago, he was only a sophomore, and Coach told us, I think before the game, that he was one of the best passers on the team.
That's
but
right.
He didn't want to play quarterback.
That's right. He wanted to play receiver.
Want to be receiver. And now this year, to his credit, Exelholm's credit, the coach went to him and said, listen, we need you to be the quarterback.
Right.
And he says, yeah, that I'm going to do it.
You see that often in high school football. Sometimes guys just need to step up and play that position. They might not get as many touches as far as carries. And here you see Presume off the pitch to the outside.
Oh, nice dip. Wow, he bowled over somebody.
Yeah, he got past the 25-yard line, so that's a first down for Westy up to the 24.
We're seeing West Roxbury try to answer that stunning touchdown from East Boston. Presume, as you mentioned, she lowered that shoulder and got enough yards for the first down. The Exelholm, the real advantage he has by being a quarterback, obviously he can throw, he can run, but he has those long strides. He has excellent speed. So it's tough for a defense when you have defensive linemen or even linebackers trying to blitz him or trying to get to him. If he can get around the corner, similar to what East Boston does.
Now on first down from the 24-yard line, early movement. Westy's going to have to back up 5.
At 81.
The tight end over there for West Roxbury. As a matter of fact, the way that the movement was, it looked like the play was coming to the right. So he's on the left side. So he's if you're not sure about the snap, you just wait. Just watch your teammate.
Right. So it'll be 1st and 15 now for West Roxbury from the East Boston 29-yard line. Eastie had a penalty or two in their first drive. Didn't let that stop them from scoring. We'll see what happens with Westy here after their first penalty. 1st and 15, straight up. The gut is Presume again, and he gets past the 20 up to the 18.
I'll say that West Roxbury just doesn't have the weights listed, but you can see he uses all that he has. It's the second time he ran over somebody.
So they spot the ball at the 19-yard line, so it was it's like about a 10-yard pickup on first down. Second down now for the Raiders. And right up the middle they go, but
That's
nowhere to go.
Right. That time he got some of his own medicine. East Boston came up in good shape to take away all his momentum.
Yeah, Josh Rivera coming up and filling the hole there for the Jets.
Oh, yeah, unblocked.
I'm sorry, that was Matera. Nate Matera.
Yeah, the
junior linebacker.
The guard on that play to allow Patera just a free run.
So no gain on the play. 3rd and 4 now for the West Roxbury Raiders. And again, some early movement. No flag just yet. They pitch it to the outside. That's Omo, who couldn't quite escape the East Boston defense. Not much there on 3rd down, so it'll be 4th down now for Westy.
Yeah, it'll be 4th and... It looks like a long 2. You see Omo, as we mentioned, had 2 touchdowns last week, including a pick 6. So A lot of these kids for West Roxbury play both ways.
Yeah, they do have somewhat of a short roster, just under 30 players on the team right now. And Coach Wright was saying, as school starts to move along here in September, some more guys will want to join the football team. So the Raiders now going for it on 4th down here from the 19-yard line, and now we have a timeout.
Yeah, they're going to take a timeout.
West Roxbury. We mentioned also with the Raiders, too, as you mentioned it in the open, Alan, sometimes teams, when they get here kind of late, they rush through their warm-ups and they rush through.
It's not the regular routine.
That's right.
And we've seen it over the years. I mean, trying to get here on a Friday afternoon can be tough.
Without question. We'll see if they can make some adjustments. Our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky's got an update for us. Seth, what do you have down there?
Thanks, guys. Eastie's off to a good start, but they do have an injury risk or injury issue. Javier Arruda, the team's second running back, who got the carry in the second play of the game, immediately went off holding his left hamstring. The trainer worked on him. It looks like it's a recurring issue, and it looks like his day is done. He took off his jersey, went to the bench, so that'll be something to watch. Brandon Ortega might have to carry a little bit more of the load than Eastie would have liked. Guys?
Thanks very much, Seth. And, you're looking at the East Boston Jets, and we've always seen them have 3 or 4 guys carry the football. Right now, they really only have 1 or 2 in Ortega.
They have some young kids who didn't expect to play, but may have to step in. So 4th and 5?
Yeah, the Raiders are now backed up. 4th down and 5 now for Westy. And the handoff over the right side, and Presume carrying some tacklers. Up to the 21. He's going to be short, but he should have been brought down.
I know. Well,
that's a couple of yards before.
You like the what? This is what you're talking about, Pat. He hit the backfield, but holding on to the jerseys actually what slowed him down until some help came.
I like how he runs, though.
Yeah, that 5-yard penalty was a killer because right after the 5-yard penalty on the 1st and 15, they actually made a 10-yard run, which would have been another first down, but instead they got stopped on downs. Now East Boston's back in the field with their offense.
So the Jets will take over at their own 16-yard line. But they're coming up with the 4th down stop. Westy's got to be disappointed that they weren't able to keep that drive alive.
Yeah, they really had something going. It's the good kickoff return and then a couple of nice runs by Arruda. Well, now East Boston's having a little confusion with who's going to be in this Josh Rivera.
Like we said before, a lot of new guys on both sides of the football, especially at the skills positions for both these teams. Jets now on 1st down. Hector Martinez now the deep back with Ortega in the slot. The handoff to Martinez on 1st down, and he is wrapped up in the backfield. A lot of penetration for the Raiders.
Yeah, that was an angry group on that West Roxbury front line. I mean, they're frustrated. You're right. They were very frustrated about not being able to get that first down. As a matter of fact, that was the running back, Presume, who plays linebacker on defense, got that tackle. 2-yard loss. So, yeah, Westy wants to get this ball right back to the offense.
So that shot of Coach Parziali, decent amount of rain coming down, not too heavy, but it's still going to make the ball a little slick. Here on 2nd down, it's Ortega with another nice cut. Ortega in the open field up to the 40, and they'll mark him down at the 42-yard line. Another big-time run for Brandon Ortega.
I'd say there's just no substitute for straight-out speed. And once he broke the line of scrimmage, it's a matter of West Roxbury trying to chase him down. Good blocking up front. Needs to make a cut in the hole, and right there, see, he's already in stride. And now it's a matter of who's going to catch him and then finally corral him. But huge gain. He's
3 rushes for Ortega, already over 100 yards here in the first quarter. Under 3 minutes left here in the first. This time the handoff on 1st down.
Is that Rivera?
To Josh Rivera, but he's got nowhere to go. Coming up with the tackle for Westy is Steven Garcia.
Straight handoff to Rivera. To lose the first tackle, but like you said, nowhere else to go. Is filling in those gaps that time West Roxbury. This time a split formation behind quarterback.
Handoff over the right side to Ortega again. Ortega again up the middle, again with another big gain. Well into West Roxbury territory. He's brought down at the 43.
We haven't talked much about the offensive lines. Both coaches actually had some concern that they have some inexperienced players in the offensive line, but East Boston so far is by far outplaying the West Roxbury offensive line and giving Ortega plenty of running room. Another first down for Ortega.
On first down over the right side, being wrapped up in the backfield that
Blake,
time for the Jets was Angelo Blake.
Angelo's trying to get outside. Again, all the flow came to the left with Ortega trying to fool the West Roxbury. But there you see Angelo, no room at all. Two, cornerback came over, the linebacker came up.
So a 2-yard loss on the play there for the Jets. It'll be 2nd down and 12 now for Easty. Rain now really starting to come down here at Sartori Stadium. And again, some early movement. That might have been on West Roxbury that time.
Offside, multiple opponents. Replace, repeat, first down.
Yeah, that's a tough break for West Roxbury because they really did have a chance to try to make a defensive stand. 2nd and 12 will now turn to 2nd and 7.
Minute 20 left to go here in the first quarter. Now on 2nd down, it's Ortega again. This time with a tough run inside the 35, down to the 34.
You like seeing him wrap the ball with two arms now that the rain is here. He's going to be less than a yard short of the first down.
I think they gave it to him.
Oh, you got the first down, okay. Timeout defensively for West Roxbury. They've got to figure something out up front. They actually have sort of a bunch formation in their defensive front, but for some reason the East Boston Jets are still able to block and give some seams for Ortega mainly.
Brandon Ortega right now here in the first quarter, averaging just over 24 yards a rush. So he's been putting in the work, especially as Seth mentioned before, Javier Arruda getting banged up and probably done for the evening.
He got his pads off. Arruda's not coming back. So now it's a matter of looking at the roster and how many of these underclassmen will get a chance to get in, because at some point the way that Ortega is being used as a workhorse here in the first quarter. I mean, he's got over 100 yards in the quarter. He's got to take a rest at some point.
Yeah, at some point, maybe like one series, he might have to come out.
Love to get a drink of water or something.
Too.
Yeah,
and he returns kicks.
Right. Yeah, it's so when he needs a breather, someone else has to go in. They've already tried a couple of handoffs to the fullback.
When you're carrying the football though, and you're running for all those yards
You
offensively,
don't care. You can rain, it can snow, it doesn't matter.
On first down, it's
there's the fullback. Yeah. So
the carry.
Between those two, they could easily just keep this going, because those two again, there's Matera and decent gain on first down. I mean, as a coach, you love this. These are very simple. This is the most basic offense to run. Handoff, split backs, and just hand off to one of them between the tackles.
Certainly helps the inexperienced quarterback as well. Again, it's Ortega with the carry here in 2nd and 7, and he's wrapped up right around the 26.
A little bit of a slant that time as he was able to cut back inside.
Pickup of 4 on the play.
You see him again, just waiting to put in that burst. I think the timeout for West Roxbury has helped them as they're trying to fill these gaps. It's just so hard because Eastie always has the threat of going outside. They haven't done it yet, but they can fake inside, pitch outside. They have a wide open room.
3rd and 3 now for Eastie just before the end of the quarter.
He's got the end. I think the end of the quarter. We got a
looks like we got a false start on the Jets.
false start. That should end the quarter.
All right, guys, you're accepting the penalty, right? You're accepting the penalty. Down.
All right, so it'll be one more play before the end of the first quarter. 3rd and about 8. The thing that West Roxbury has to watch out for, East Boston can score from anywhere on the field. We saw Ortega do it last year as a junior. And he had a couple of big plays as a sophomore.
That's right. Now on 3rd and 8, they hand it off to Ortega, but
finally,
Westy keying on him now.
Finally. Well, there's a difference between keying on someone and stopping them. I mean, this is the first time they stopped them. They've been keying on them the whole game.
Right.
But this is the first time, like you said, they've been able to gang tackle and stop them. Which will bring up a 4th down in about 6.
So the Jets will be faced with a 4th down here when we start the second quarter. At the end of the first here at Sartori Stadium in East Boston, the East Boston Jets on top of the West Roxbury Raiders 8-0 thanks to that man, Brandon Ortega. Already over 100 yards on the ground. We'll be right back, folks, for the second quarter here on Game of the Week.
It's a short ride from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Sartori Stadium in East Boston as the East Boston Jets lead the West Roxbury Raiders 8-0 here at Sartori Stadium. Thanks to a Brandon Ortega 60-yard touchdown run back in the midway through the first quarter.
You know, Pat, I got to apologize to Omo. He actually had 3 touchdowns last year.
That's right.
He had the pick 6 you talked about.
And
he
then
also
2 rushing touchdowns.
Yeah, a 26-yard run and a 7-yard run. So, I mean, that's why West Roxbury is so anxious to get the ball back.
Yeah, they have some guys who can certainly carry the football. 4th down now for the Jets.
First pass.
Russo over the middle is picked off by West Roxbury. Bringing it back now for the Raiders, Jose Davila Quinones, and he is brought down at the 32. We got a flag at the end of the play.
Something happened. Either something happened or something was said because it was right in front of the East Boston sideline.
Block from behind, yep. During the return, 55 white, block in the back.
Okay, that's going to
10 yards and a 1st down.
Going to cost him 10 yards, but East Boston does have the football back. See, the way the wind got that, plus he had his arm hit. Good rush by West Roxbury. Now, as you mentioned, on the return, let's see if we can see the block in the back is. Oh, yeah, right there. It wasn't even necessary. He actually blocked the defender into a tackle. but you got, the effort's there. So, you have an interception return, you want to hit somebody.
Especially after an interception.
Well,
some of those defensive guys,
it's like,
they're just putting in the effort. Not used to blocking all the time.
There you go, yeah. Well, let's see what happens with West Roxbury now. Like you said, the rain's coming down, so throwing the ball is going to be sort of dicey. But I tell you, I like the way so far they've been using the run with Presumer. Ishmael's done a good job between tackles.
Omo now the deep back. Presume is the fullback. On 1st down, they pitch it to Omo, who makes one nice cut, escapes one tackler, can't escape a second as Ortega comes up with a stop.
Yeah, you mentioned he plays defense, and he made that. Looks like something's here as you see a kick-out block, but as Ortega comes up and gets, actually first on the scene was Martinez.
Yeah, Hector Martinez was the main tackler there on that one.
Allowed Ortega to finish it off. Still waiting to see Exerholm actually just tuck it and keep it himself, especially on maybe a roll option.
He actually had a 47-yard touchdown run last week called back on a holding penalty. It just shows you the type of speed he has to take it the distance. Now on 2nd down, it's Presume. picking up a couple of tough yards. They're going to mark
Really
him down
tough,
at the 25 with a gain of 2.
Yeah, he's just going to get back to the original line of scrimmage. Yeah, this is the play. That quick handoff was getting some yards in their first series, but a really hard 2 yards there.
It'll be 2nd down and 9 now for West Roxbury. Make that 3rd down and 9. Excuse me.
3rd down is the linesman fixes the marker.
The chains are always a challenge in high school football.
We usually have high schools doing it.
That's right.
Usually volunteers you bring out of the stands.
Right. Sometimes they're on their phone. Sometimes they're paying attention to other things. 3rd down and 9 now for the Raiders. Exelholm was back to throw, and
incomplete. Yeah.
I'm surprised that wasn't intentional grounding as he threw the ball away. It might have been out of the pocket.
It's a great rush by East Boston. Right up the middle.
Yeah, Matera.
There you go. He was there before Exelholm had a chance to even look downfield. Oh, actually, he tried to throw it. Yeah. But now another part of the game will be affected by the rain, the punting, especially deep in your own territory for West Roxbury.
Ortega will be back close to midfield, right around the 48-yard line.
Again, some confusion on the lineup for West Roxbury.
Now Pena back to kick, and the Jets going to call timeout here with 6:01 left to go in the 2nd quarter.
Well, East Boston, riding that huge touchdown run by Ortega with a comfortable 8-0 lead right now. And I think it's comfortable because when West Roxbury had the chance to answer right away, they got stopped on downs deep inside East Boston territory.
That's right. And folks, if you want to follow us on social media, you can certainly take a look at us on Facebook. That's Game of the Week in Facebook here in Boston. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. So coming out of the timeout, West Roxbury Raiders faced with a 4th and 9, getting ready to punt the football. It's Pena back to kick for Westy. Ortega back to receive for the Jets. Back at his own 49-yard line. Pena, end-over-end kick. It's going to be short of midfield and then roll nicely.
Nice bounce. Wow.
Past the 40. Down to about the 38-yard line.
I say Pena's a sort of all-around player. He's a junior. He was returns kicks, the punter, play some defense.
Play some receiver.
Yeah.
He's the Gino Cappelletti of the West Roxbury Raiders. So the West Roxbury Raiders punt away the football. Jets now take over at their own 38-yard line. Here with 7:47 left to go in the 2nd quarter.
West Roxbury is really got to be careful because this is the situation where Ortega is very capable of popping a very big run.
Now on 1st down, the handoff to Ortega again, and he is wrapped up in the backfield one more time.
2nd time they've been able to double team him and keep him to pretty much no gain.
That was Jomar Ramos along with Carlos Rocha in on the tackle.
You see the rain coming down. Some of the faithful fans are going to stick around. It's Friday night, You see Ortega one of the few times he's been stopped for virtually no gain. Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much passing at all, especially from East Boston, as long as they have this lead. That's going to be.
Once again, it's Matera with some early movements. That's going to back the Jets up 5.
Yeah, 2nd time, you got to wonder if he's just having a tough time hearing. Because there was no movement in front of him, so he just sort of rose up on his own.
A lot of times that fullback is the one who's clearing out the hole for the tailback, and he's excited to maybe pull or even get to the outside to make a bigger hole for Ortega.
He'll be on the sideline for this play. If he's gonna
Coach Parziale probably not too happy about his 2nd false start penalty. Jets now faced with a 2nd and 15 on their own 34-yard line. On first down, or second down rather, they hand it off to Ortega, and again, Raiders coming up with a stop.
Well,
that's
the Raiders
Presume
right
with the
now, at this point, they're really selling out on the run. They figure that East Boston's not going to do much passing, and that's the case. So you see the linebackers coming up. The safety came up too to help on that tackle. I mean, if East Boston did want to try a play fake and a pass over the middle, it would be wide open because the safety is rushing up after each handoff.
Third down and 12 now for the Jets. Fake the handoff. Now it's Russo over the right side. He's got his man down the right sideline as Rivera is brought down out of bounds at the 49. Make that midfield at the 50.
Good job. 200-pound junior with 15. Nice pass. Safe pass. Out in the flat. Pulls it in, and then looks like he really knew where he had to get for the first down.
So 16-yard pickup on the play. First down for the Jets. Right at midfield.
And again, part of the reason that Rivera was able to get open like that, West Roxbury is just playing the run, playing the run.
Now on first down, the handoff over the right side. Decent pickup on first down for number 24, Angelo Blake, as he gets up to the 42-yard line, pick up a 7.
We see a lot of action. There's actually 2 fake handoffs on the play before Blake finally took it to the right side. Angelo, one of the players we talked about, underclassman, only a sophomore.
We'll see if Aruda, now that Aruda's banged up and can't play, we'll see if Blake's one of those guys that has to step up.
And unexpectedly could make an impact, you're right.
Now it's second down and 2. It's Ortega picking up the first down as he gets past the 40 up to the 39.
Well, clock winding down here in the second quarter. 8-0 lead still stands, though. The West Roxbury players looking at that 0 on the scoreboard, and after ringing up 52 points last week, they're
saying, "What's this?"
This is a different situation.
Now on first down, handoff up the gut again.
That Blake?
Josh Rivera.
Yeah, Rivera, okay. Yeah, they are starting to
mix
rotate some other players. Simple handoff. They don't want to take any chances because with that wet football.
So they mark him down at the 37, so a pickup of 2 on the play. It'll be second down and 8 now for the Jets. Hand off again over the right side. And Blake with a nice little spin. Angelo Blake down the sideline. Wrestled down right around the 5. And they'll mark him down at the 6. Big pickup there for Angelo Blake.
Well, perfect example of what coaches always say, keep the legs churning. As he didn't get wrapped up. Pops right off and down the sideline. Finally knocked out of bounds. Not until he gets down to the 6-yard line.
So 31-yard pickup there for Blake. It'll be first and goal for the Jets.
This is really so demoralizing here for the West Roxbury. They look like they had a chance the defense to stop around midfield. That third and 12 screen pass to Rivera to keep this drive going. Now they're knocking on the door. Time for more Ortega here.
First and goal, they give it to Ortega inside the 5, and then he's wrapped up right around the 3.
It's all right. He'll want it 2 more times, at least. You were mentioning earlier, and you're right. The running back with that kind of talent to get off to such a strong start. All right, 14-6 win, tight game, but he scored both touchdowns for them.
That's right.
Clearly, he's going to be the featured guy all season. Has a touchdown today. And this West Roxbury defense they've been shadowing him, but the line's blocking well for him, and he just had really good skill and speed.
Yeah, it looks like now the Raiders want to call a timeout. They were 2:17 left to go and before halftime. Coach Wright knows if they can make a stop here,
it'd be big.
That'd be huge. Down just one score going into the half.
Well, his team has to stop 3 plays because this is clearly 4-down territory. So with the rain, we've seen East Boston in the past try field goals, but in the rain, there's no sense in even chancing with the wet ball and the wet field. So West Roxbury's got to, like you said, it's got to come up with some kind of stand. We've seen teams in the past try what they call a run blitz, where they just guess, okay, it's going to be a run. They're not going to throw the ball, so
let's shoot the gaps.
Shoot the gaps, and then bring the safeties up to the linebacker spots and see what happens. Now you leave your backside wide open, but that's the chance you take. Try to get a stop, possible tackle for loss.
We've seen East Boston in the past run an end around, run a scissor play before, but we haven't seen it tonight.
Never seen any of that tonight. It's all been simple handoffs. So any of those plays right now could probably pop wide open.
We did see Dom Russo pass the ball twice. One was for an interception. One was for a nice
big
completion.
First down. Big first down.
Two completely different plays out of the inexperienced quarterback. But I think you're right, Al. I think on second and goal, they're probably going to give it to either Ortega or...
Well, I formation this time.
That's right. They have Hector Martinez, the deep back in the backfield. They give it to Matera, and he plows his way in for the touchdown. Nate Matera, the big fullback.
Well, he has the 2 penalties, but he also has 2 scores. He had the conversion on the first touchdown. Now he has his own touchdown here. Again, simple handoff. Oh, good. This was 79 for East Boston, and they're just clearing the way. That's Calix, Chris Calix.
Yeah, Calix was...
Yeah, give him credit because he slanted the entire middle of the West Roxbury line to give Matera plenty of room for that slant.
Yeah, talk about the Jets' offensive line. Capone was one of the few returning starters, but Calix played a lot and actually started at the very end of last year. As you see Ortega punching in the 2-pointer. Big 2-point conversion there for the Jets. They're now on top 16-0 here with just over 2 minutes left to go in the second quarter. Now if you're the Raiders, you do have 2 minutes to try to put a drive together, but...
first of all, you have to get your spirit back. I mean, we're seeing a lot of missed arm tackles, not wrapping up. Like I said earlier, it's tough. I mean, first game of the season, okay, you play out of league. Okay, you go out and you play Pope John, bring up 52 points. And so it's great, of course, to get the win, but it can also be deceiving. And I think we're seeing some of the results of that when the defense can't get stops, these are long drive, just meticulous by East Boston. And the first one wasn't going to be a long drive until Ortega took care of that with a 50-yard touchdown. So East Boston, West Roxbury now has to get some kind of big play to get themselves back in the game before halftime.
Hey, you wonder if Exelholm might be the one to do it.
That's, like I said, I'm just surprised we haven't seen him run from the quarterback spot.
Scrib kick up the middle for the Jets as usual. It's fielded right around the 31-yard line. Here's Pena again trying for a nice return, but he is brought down right around the 32 by Pat Aiken.
On that situation with the squib kick, with the wet field, wet ball, the important thing is keep possession. Ortega tried to make something out of it, but the main thing is he got the ball, and now with 2:06 to go before halftime, that's time for West Roxbury to try to put something together.
Raiders will take over at their own 33-yard line here with 2:06 left to go
See, last year, when Exelholm was a wide receiver, this would have been a type of play that they would go to him on a deep pattern.
That's right. We actually saw him 2 years ago catch a touchdown.
That's right, yeah.
On a deep pattern over the middle against Charlestown.
Okay, Cupper, the tight end is in the wrong position. That's going to be a 12
1,
guys.
2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
Yeah, 12 guys.
Substitution infraction, breaking the huddle with 12 men. White, 5 yards. Repeat, first down.
We saw that last week at both Cathedral and Latin Academy in week 1, and now too many men on the field for the Raiders again.
The strangest part about it is, if Exelholm hadn't been yelling to the tight end to get off the field, I don't think the officials saw it. They didn't notice it because he was telling 89 to get off the field. But
that's one of those instances where there's no actual play clock on the field.
That's right,
the refs keep the play clock. And when I was playing high school football, one of my teammates would yell, "Hurry up, hurry up!"
Yeah.
And my coaches would say, shut up, because he didn't want the ref to think about the play clock because they don't always look at it, you know?
It's true, yeah.
So now the Raiders faced with a 1st and 15, with just over 2 minutes left to go here in the second quarter, trying to put a drive together before halftime. And it's Exelholm out of the shotgun. Hands it off to Presume, and he is going to be wrapped up in the backfield for a big loss.
Yeah, they tried some misdirection, but when we talked about, again, this comes down to very basics. Offensive line, there's no room whatsoever. 3 of the Jets right back there to throw him for a big loss. And he'll get his forward progress, so the loss won't be, well, still a big loss. It's just like, I'm looking at the yard markers. It's got to be second and about 20, 21? Wow.
It looks like about 2nd and 21. Yeah. You're right, Alan. Mike De Rosario with the tackle there on first down. Now on second down, Exelholm looking to go to the air over the left side. That's almost picked off by the Jets, as it looked like possibly one of the Raiders went the wrong way. Omo was out in a pattern.
He's out there, but he cuts the middle. Like you say, he cuts the middle. The ball was thrown to the outside. Or it might just slipped. I mean, Exelholm tried to get something under it. It might have slipped out of his hands. He comes out, and you're right. See, Omo's already cutting to the middle.
So now 3rd down and 21 for
Nope, we got a holding penalty on West Roxbury, so Coach Pazielli is trying to decide if he wants to push them back more. Yes, he does. Wow, it's going to be a 2nd down and 30.
So the ball now placed at the 11-yard line of West Roxbury after that 10-yard holding penalty.
This is
2nd down and 31 now for the Raiders. Low snap, and now it's Exelholm trying to escape the rush. He's got to get out of the end zone. He does. Makes a nice cut up to the 17-yard line. There you see Exelholm's escapability.
Well, that's the running ability I talked about earlier. I mean, this is not the situation for him to be running. He's just running for his life there because of the bad snap. Able to avoid the first 2 tacklers. And like you said, he actually gave ground and was very close to the end zone. Good cut there, and that's a perfect example of making something out of nothing.
Yeah, that would have been an even bigger loss for the Raiders, so Exelholm gets it back close to the line of scrimmage.
Now, East Boston took that time out. They want a chance to get the ball back again before halftime.
It'll be 3rd down and about 31.
Now that pattern on the first down was actually open if the ball had been thrown toward the middle. Like you said, I'm not sure where the mix-up was, but Omo had split the 2 safeties.
3rd and 23 now for the Raiders. They pitch it over the right side. Omo drops the football. Now he reverses field. Kolawole Omo off a nice cut up to the 18-yard line. It'll be a block in the back.
He was really angry at himself because if he caught that clean, he actually had a chance to get to the corner.
Right where the flag is.
Another block in the back.
During the run. 28 White.
So Michael Cruz with the block in the back on the Raiders. I think East Boston's going to decline the penalty because they know West Roxbury is going to punt here on 4th down.
It was interesting on that play. Even though it was a broken play, Exelholm threw an excellent block. I mean, right there the sideline.
So that'll be a 4th and 23 for the Raiders.
East Boston wants to kick in, get another 3rd touchdown before halftime.
Brandon Ortega back to receive right around the East Boston 45. Saw Pena with an end-over-end kick earlier in the 2nd quarter.
Okay, got it.
.36 seconds and counting left in the quarter. And West is going to try to milk the clock.
Right, they're going to wind. Not sure why Coach Parzielli is not using another timeout.
I think Parzielli's saying, didn't they just call a timeout?
So West Roxbury takes a timeout, but there's only 16 seconds left. Well, what happened was that they declined the penalty. See, if they had taken the penalty, then the clock would have stopped.
But because they declined it, the clock.
I think Coach Parzielli was a little. I think he forgot he didn't take the penalty. He took the first one.
Yeah, because he still has 3 remaining.
Well, they're going to talk about this. Oh, they are going to put some more time on the clock.
So I think Parzielli did take a timeout after the 3rd down play, which is why they're putting more time back on the clock. Now the head ref is going to talk to Derek Wright about why more time is being put on the clock.
Well, I mean, regardless of the time, what it comes down to is the punt has to be covered first and foremost by West Roxbury's coverage guys. Can't give Ortega open field because he can take it all the way. So they are going to go back to 48 seconds.
Penalty was declined. East Boston called a timeout. The referee inadvertently wound the clock.
Right.
Clock is correct at 48 seconds. It will go on the snap.
It's good to admit your mistakes, right?
Yeah, good explanation there.
Because given the fact that the timeout wasn't acknowledged, the clock's supposed to run.
So now Pena back to kick, another low snap, but Louis is able to gather and get a decent punt away, and he gets another good bounce past midfield up to about the 45. And West Roxbury is going to down it at the 46.
They're going to just let the clock run down 33 seconds.
That was smart by Westy. I was thinking, why didn't you try to down it inside the, let it go?
No, they want those seconds to
go.
go.
That was smart.
Yeah.
That was very smart by the Raiders.
They've got to play. They got to play defense. Get some safeties in place now. their regular safety is, like you said, the all-purpose kid, 80. Who's
Louis Pena.
Yeah, Pena. He'll be because he's usually the sort of like the last line of defense. He's been forced to play sort of a corner because they've had such a tight formation to stop the run. But yeah, see, he's going back in deep safety formation now.
Yeah, Coach Wright mentioned Exelholm is probably their best defensive back, but he can't chance him getting hurt on defense and losing him at the quarterback position. Russo going to throw the football. Now over to the tight end, Pat Aiken, who gets out of bounds at the 47-yard line. Make that the 46.
Good fake, and then the tight ends in the flat. One of their regular plays from year to year. We see, we see the screen passes, the inside screen, the scissor play. All those are sort of like the staples.
So 7-yard pickup there on first down for the Jets. Clock stopped at 27 seconds. Be a second down, and actually that was an 8-yard pickup, so it'll be second down and 2 now for East Boston. Russo again going to the air over the right side, was looking.
Yeah, Rivera out in the flat.
Joshua Rivera.
Slightly overthrown, but still a safe pass because you're throwing to the sideline, so you it's either going to get you your guy or nobody. Got to be impressed with the East Boston defense too, because when you think about it, I mean, 52 is 52. So
sure,
I mean, you got the offense for East Boston has done its job by keeping the West Roxbury offense off the field. But when West has been on the field, they've been bottled up the entire half.
Now on third down, they hand off to Ortega up to the 43-yard line, and Eastie going to call a timeout here with 17 seconds left before the half.
At least one shot. Again, Ortega at that time
ran through a tackle.
I'd say the first time he actually had a clean hit coming down from the defensive end spot. Actually, the short gain gave him a first down. So 17 seconds, couple of plays.
Yeah, the Jets, I believe, have at least 2 timeouts left as well. And they haven't been afraid of Russo going to the air either. He's thrown a couple of passes so far here in the first half. Now on first down, it's Russo. Now he's got to escape the rush, and he's wrapped up in the backfield. Roaches
good job
coming up and making the sack.
That's the big defensive end that Coach Rice depending on. That's going to end the half.
And Coach Parciali stayed it up.
Yep.
So at the half here at Sartori Stadium in East Boston, the Jets on top of the West Roxbury Raiders, 16-0. Let's take a look at a replay of this last sack here as Roaches.
Good job, Roaches. Like he able to break down and not get fooled going to the sideline and kept his balance.
So as you mentioned, Alan, it's not just the East Boston offense, but the defense.
Defense is doing the job.
Pitching a shutout here in the first half against West Roxbury, who scored 52 points last week against Pope John. And, boy, as we expected, Brandon Ortega with a heck of a first half here for the Jets. Westy did a little bit better in that second quarter against Ortega.
Oh, they took chances. They brought, like, people always talk about 7 in the box defensively, but West Roxbury, they had like 9. To try to stop him, and they have to do the second half too, because East Boston historically they will not throw the ball if they can keep running. There's no need to. They're already up 2 touchdowns, and that 16-0 doesn't sound like insurmountable, but the fact that their defense is playing so well for East Boston, it might as well be 26.
That's right.
So
sure,
we'll see. West Roxbury, I think the biggest job getting into the locker room is, okay, forget about the 52 we scored last week.
Right.
We haven't scored anything today. We got to do some things. We got to get some blocking up front. All right, give Exelholm, Omo, give those guys a chance. Presume, give them a chance to make some plays.
Sure. I mean, we've seen on a couple of plays here and there. Presume has dragged tacklers through the line, and
they had a great first drive, but then they get stopped on downs.
Right. Well, we'll talk to their head coach Derek Wright, who was down on the field with our sideline reporter Seth Orensky. Seth, take it away.
joined by West Roxbury head coach Derek Wright. Coach, you were emphasizing discipline throughout that first half. A lot of flags against you guys. What do you need to work on in the second half just towards sort of equalizing the field and making them beat you on the field rather than with flags?
Well, like I said in the beginning, we have to exhibit discipline out there. We'll make a couple of adjustments, but kids are aggressive out there, but they were a little overly aggressive today. So, you don't want to ball it up, but you want to control it. So we're going to try to control them with the jumping and all that, and just play football, man up.
Irvin hasn't had a lot of chances to exhibit his skills at quarterback. What are you going to look to do in the second half, just trying to maybe control the ball a little bit more?
Well, we just have to have Irvin settle down a little. He's a little anxious right now. First big game for him, so he'll come through. He's a big-time player.
One of the guys who stood out, Luis Pena, 2 huge punts to at least keep them off the board. How important is it? You don't see a lot of big-time kickers or punters in this league to have a guy who can boot the ball and help you with field position.
Lewis actually has been punting real well for us. He worked on it during the offseason, and it's really shown today. He had a nice fake punt, but his foot has kept us good field position anyway.
Coach, we always get close games. Good luck bringing this one back in the second half.
Thank you.
Guys, take it away.
Seth, thanks very much, and thanks for man in the rain for us there. And Coach Wright, you can see that he's, understands they're not totally out of this. They're down by 2 touchdowns. They got to put it together offensively. I mean, defensively, they haven't been quite that bad, especially if you look at after that big Ortega run.
Oh, definitely. I think what he was alluding to is that when he said the guys are sort of over anxious, making some mistakes, mental mistakes, and he knows he has to calm them down. But it's tough because coming into the game, I know they heard Ortega sure. like all week.
Right.
And some of the kids probably looked up his stats from last year, and they said, wow, this kid, like you say, he runs track.
Yep.
So
they've seen him
like
out there.
That's all in your head. Wow, okay, I got to get to him. I got to wrap him up. I got to stop him. And then he pops a 50-yard touchdown in the first quarter.
Yeah, like, here we go again. Yeah. Well, I will see if the Raiders can make some halftime adjustments, especially offensively, as they trail 16-0 here at halftime. Now, we come to Sartori Stadium a lot here in East Boston. Of course, for the Jets, it's nice to have this home field that they can practice and play at all the time. And now, over the last year, Brighton has now their home field. And we're going to take a look at a story about the Brighton home field right now.
Let's go 5 RB counter, double team right there, up to that backer.
Brighton Bengals head football coach Randolph Abraham is a stickler for details. His play calling is complex.
Trips right open, zip. 99 jet.
And his instructions are precise.
I want you guys to blow this kid up because we need to get movement. We get this movement, look at the size of the hole, then climb up to the backer.
But before the 2016 season, Abraham's coaching style wasn't the only complicated aspect of the Brighton Bengals football program. Since the 1980s, the Bengals have been a football gridiron orphan, after their former practice field next to the Charles River in Brighton fell into disrepair. The Bengals then bounced around to different practice facilities until 1998, when they settled on Cassidy Field in Cleveland Circle, a less than ideal location for football drills and scrimmages.
That field is just, oh my God, it's just unbearable. Holes, we have geese feces all over the place.
There's like a lot of rocks, holes, there's like hills, it's uneven.
The lines were never straight. It's just dealing with the elements. It was just not an ideal situation.
To make matters worse, private spaces for the Bengals to change into their pads were few and far between.
And when I played, we changed outside. Whether it was rain, snow, doesn't matter, we had to change outside, in the middle of, the field.
Home games were also an adventure for the Bengals. Each Friday, Brighton would have to leave school hours before game time and make the crosstown trek to Boston English, and then years later, White Stadium.
Well, we're very thankful to all the city, teams and White Stadium for allowing us to play. And we would have to leave kind of like right after school and try to beat the traffic, wait a few hours before the game, hope to get a locker room because they're doing double headers.
Playing games at White Stadium, it's old, it has history behind it. Everybody that played there, my dad played there, but I just wanted to play on our own field, a place that we can call home.
But over the last handful of seasons, word began to trickle through the Bengal community that a brand new field was in the works.
I didn't believe it. Quite honestly, I didn't believe it until last year, around November. Coach Abraham told me, hey, it's real. And I'll be honest with you, I still didn't believe it until I came out here physically and I saw them doing construction.
The Brighton community teamed up with Simmons College, who began leasing the Daly Field Athletic Complex, the former home of the Brighton Bengals. Simmons then financed a $13.5 million refurbishing of the Daly Field Athletic Complex that they would then share with Brighton High School after the completion of the renovation.
And it turned into an amazing partnership between Brighton High School, Brighton Community, and Simmons College. And well, Simmons is doing a great job. First of all, I want to thank them for putting this together for us and just working with us. They have a maintenance group here. They take care of the field.
And in the summer of 2016, the Brighton Bengals coaches and players were able to walk onto their very own home football field for the first time.
Oh man, I shed a tear. I did. It was beautiful. For putting in all this work as a player, as a coach, we finally have a place to call home.
It got to a point where I just come out here with just shoes and socks and just start running over the field because I was just excited.
The new Daly Field comes fully equipped to serve the needs of the Bengals football program. Whether it be the new locker room for the Bengals to occupy.
Here, we changed the inside with his heat now, running water and bathrooms.
With a state-of-the-art organic turf that Brighton now practices on.
No rocks, no slipping on nothing, no hills. It's just flat, nice and even.
What I was told when I went to several meetings at Simmons is there's a padding right underneath the turf, the grass, and it actually prevents the concussions.
They're supposed to reduce concussions something like 50%. And that's why, again, it's great practice in here as opposed to Cassidy. That's where we would have our concussions at practice, where here it's like the kids can go and get taken to the ground and they bounce right back up because of the foam underneath the turf.
In addition to its brand new amenities, Daly Field sits less than a mile from Brighton High and provides an accessible venue for members of the Brighton High School community.
When we go out fundraising, people ask us, like, where's the field at? And we used to say at White Stadium, but now we just say at Daly Field. Now a lot of people from our school can come out, people from the community are coming out. We have these stands packed.
Now that we're here, people coming home from work, go home, take a walk, 5-minute walk down the street, you're right here.
But as these Bengals relish in their newly minted football residence, they will be sure to remember the decades of players and coaches who had to sacrifice before them.
On opening night, when my brothers came out and they saw that the dream was reality, they couldn't believe it either. They were happy that we finally had a place to call home.
Many of them don't even, a lot of the new kids don't know what it felt like to be in geese, poop, and practice football, but this is everybody's field, all the Bengals.
Nice job! Nice job.
There you have it, Daly Field out in Brighton now after a full season for the Bengals, and it's got to be nice to just be able to walk down the street and get to that high school football
world of
field
difference, world of difference, because they had to bounce around like Coach was saying, and you feel like just disconnected with the neighborhood. The logistics of the team, players trying to get together after classes, get on buses and go, across. They were going to White Stadium for their games.
That's right.
That was tough enough. So, but now it's you talk about walking to a practice field, your own field, walking to your home game.
That's right.
I mean,
nice for them and for the fans.
And it's easy to encourage your fellow students to come and watch.
Yeah, and faculty. Right. So that's certainly a nice added bonus for the Brighton Bengals. Let's take a look at the halftime stats here at Sartori Stadium in Eastie. And first up, it's going to be the West Roxbury Raiders.
Not much for them. I mean, the offense wasn't on the field that much. Presumably, we talked about Ishmael with 19 yards on 6 carries. Exelholm ran a couple unexpected plays, 9 yards, 2 carries. Nothing in passing at all. Hasn't been able to complete his 2 attempts.
Let's take a look at the Eastie stats.
East Boston, the opposite. The Eastie, 143 yards and a half for Ortega on 13 carries, and of course that big touchdown to start the game. Blake had a beautiful 31-yard run, 38 yards altogether with 3 carries, and then Rivera had a nice first down catch, and the tight end Aiken had 8 yards on his catch. So not much passing, only 4 attempts for Russo, but hasn't had to throw it much, and he'll throw it even less if the East Boston defense can keep West Roxbury off the scoreboard.
We saw Ortega with 143 on the ground. Now let's take a look at some halftime highlights of Brandon before we start the second half.
This is the first play, his first touchdown, rather, and you see his speed. Looked like the angle, the safety had the angle, but he didn't at all. And so didn't take much for Ortega to get out there. And it's another one, the opposite side. You see him, big run. So when you're biting off chunks of yards like that, it's easy to get to 143 and a half, and that's exactly what Ortega does. There you see him getting into the end zone.
Right there in the 2-point conversion. So Brandon 143 on the ground and a touchdown. He had 2 touchdowns last week, so he has continued a good pace here in the first couple of games, carrying the load. And as we mentioned before, Javier Ruda, probably their second back on this team for East
Boston.
Went out in the
first series.
Went out very early, so it's been mostly Ortega, but now Angelo Blake getting some carries. You saw Matera, who we didn't really think was going to get a lot of carries.
Right.
He's gotten a couple, so next man up mentality as usual here in East Boston.
Very basic football.
Jets ready to kick off. Westy ready to receive, and once again it's Pena bringing it back for the Raiders. Pena breaks up the middle, close to midfield. Wow. So Pena doing a nice job on special teams, both kicking the football and returning the football.
Yeah, he's, I'll tell you, he's given West Roxbury some decent field position to start this half. I want to see what kind of changes they made in their offensive plays, because they they weren't getting much push from the offensive line. So sometimes you have to help them out with a little misdirection. Try to force the East Boston defense to guess a little bit. It's 16-0 right now for East Boston. Pretty comfortable.
And as you mentioned before, Alan, when the Jets do get the football, even if they don't score, they run so much, they kill so much clock.
Right. Yeah. That's what West Roxbury has to be aware of. Each of their possessions are really going to be important until they finally score.
Now on first down from midfield, they pitch it over the left side to Omo, and he got
lost his
tripped
footing,
up just a bit.
Looked like he was cutting back to the middle where there was some room, but got tripped up.
Kolawole just hasn't quite been able to break that.
So watch the right of your screen, you'll see
to.
he's just, actually tripped over his own guy.
And Matera getting a little bit of penetration there. So Omo with a short 1-yard gain on the play, so it'll be 2nd down and 9 now for the Raiders.
Same formation as this time in the I. 2 backs behind Exelholm.
Now on 2nd down, they fake the handoff. It's Exelholm. Looks like a broken play.
Oh, definitely. He missed
He'll
the
have
handoff.
nowhere to go.
Yeah. Second man through, it looked like he was supposed to get the handoff, and either it just didn't get there or he may have felt that it was slipping. So, sort of a wasted play, and bring up 3rd down. And you see, if you fake the pitch, but the back went the wrong way. Yeah. Exelholm was getting ready to hand off to his right. The back went to the left.
You mentioned it's got to be frustrating for especially for Exelholm, who had 2 rushing touchdowns himself last week. Never mind orchestrating, 40-something points. They had they actually had 2 pick sixes, I believe, last week, but still orchestrating about 40 points on the board for the Raiders last week.
You hate to see that goose egg.
3rd and 9 now for Westy. They fake the pitch. It's now Exelholm back to throw. He's got to run for his life. And Exelholm's going to be brought down at the East Boston 48. So just a short gain on that play.
Yes, and again, that was supposed to be a pass-run option. No screen there, and it all starts up front. I mean, getting defensive penetration. Exelholm just has no chance to even raise the ball up to try to throw it. Fourth and 8. Tough way to start the half.
And we'll see what Westy does here. They are in Eastie territory, just past midfield. If they go for it, or if they do, it looks like they're going to
line up to go for it. I don't know if they're going to try to draw East Boston off, but it's shotgun formation for the first time.
Exelholm out of the shotgun. He's going to go for it on 4th down, and it's just over the hands of Luis Pena. A little bit lower. That probably would have been a first down for the Raiders.
We just said that Pena, sort of all-purpose type of player. And that good throw, but it's just a little too high for Pena.
Pena was 6 feet tall. He might have gotten that.
He would have gotten that.
He's only about 5'7".
He's not even close to that. But it's, I mean, he is a junior, so he's one of those players that, you know, Coach Ryder look forward to using all of his skills this year and next year.
So now the Jets take over at their own 48-yard line after the turnover on downs by the West Roxbury Raiders.
Well, the rain stopped anyway. That's
for now.
Now we're good for the rest of the game, Pat.
Alan, if you say we're good for the rest of the game, we're good for the rest of the game.
Thumbs up on that one.
Now on first down, it's up to the big fullback, Matera, who's wrapped up. Westy getting more penetration in the backfield.
It's worth the chance.
Sure.
You're taking a big chance because you're totally vulnerable to a fake and a pass, but you got to live with something because you can't let East Boston just kill the clock. Good job again to get that contact at the line of scrimmage.
I think if you're Westy, too, you try to put East Boston in a 3rd and long, and then you can sort of back off.
Play normal.
And play straight up.
See, look how close they are to the line of scrimmage. The linebackers almost playing like they're linemen.
Now on 2nd down and 9, the handoff to Ortega. That's the problem for Westy is Ortega gets up to the 44.
Any crack, any kind of gap that he gets, he sprints through. Watch this. Simple play again. Off tackle, just find some room. And even though he's listed at 160, but he runs. We've seen his speed. Clearly he's a sprinter. But also, he's not just a speed guy. I mean, he can lower his shoulder if he has to, or he can really, sort of bundle up and take a big hit. So he's now made it a very easy 3rd and less than 1.
Yeah, now the Jets, it looks like it's 3rd and inches for Eastie. Because they just have to get to the
somebody wants a timeout.
41-yard line. I think it's
Coach Parziales. He's saying that from where he is, it looks like a first down.
We want a measurement.
I don't think they want to be bothered measuring. Coach Parziales is looking at it and he's saying, "Wait a minute, we already have this."
I think.
Coach, after.
I think one of the West Roxbury Raiders might have gotten banged up on that play. We're seeing the trainers go across the field.
Right.
Might have been Pena if I can. Yeah, that is. That's Luis Pena. He had to come off the field. He's got his helmet off. He might have a concussion with the way that they're checking him out.
They have the protocol to go through.
3rd and short now for the Jets. They hand off to Ortega. Why not? He gets past the 40 up to the 39.
Well, there's been some type of penetration for the East Boston, or initial hit, I should say, initial thrust for East Boston all night. He had the first down before he got touched, but short game, but like you said, it was only inches anyway. Even the plays that West Roxbury's made well defensively, I mean, East Boston still having the advantage with their offensive line. And now they've stopped raining. I mean, it's not like we can expect turnovers from Eastie because these are very simple, the simplest plays possible.
Now 1st and 10 from the West Roxbury 39. It's Ortega again with a seam. Ortega.
Yeah, loves that cut. He
7-yard pickup on the play.
He was angry at himself because he thought he should have just kept outside. Try to come back inside. Watch, he's going right. He has the guard in front of him. Takes the block. You see, he tries to slant back inside here. Instead, gets thrown down.
About a 7-yard gain for Ortega. 2nd down and a long 2 for the Jets. There you see the East Boston Jets cheerleaders braving the rain for most of the first half.
Well, they had their plastic ponchos earlier, so they're ready no matter what.
West Roxbury cheerleaders on the other side as well.
Oh, good play.
Angelo Blake wrapped up in the backfield by Roaches.
Yeah, Roaches, yeah.
Blake got twisted around there.
I'll tell you, Roaches threw the block. He either threw a block off or just didn't get touched. He get rid of the block, yeah, and stepped inside. Pulling guard for East Boston. assumed that the Blake would be coming around him.
Yeah, Alejandro Friticelli.
So third and now it's 3 between 2 and 3.
I'm talking to Coach Wright. He actually compared Carlos Roches to Gerard Clark over at
with size.
Brighton,
if you look at
size.
it,
He said not quite as good as Gerard, but has similar size and skill set.
Right. Yeah.
As there you see Matera picking up the first down on that tough run.
Now Jim, look at he's one of the bigger guys on the line, 89 right in front of you. But Matera on the opposite side. They're running it. See, they're running away from Roches. So the like we said earlier, third quarter is winding down. I mean, we're inside 3 minutes.
So now on first down from the 28-yard line. Another handoff for the Jets.
It's almost, sometimes, this kind of a drive, you get the feeling that the Jets are just lulling the defense to sleep, and they're going to fake, either go for a screen or pop over the middle to the tight end.
Right. Yeah, we saw Pat Aiken, the tight end, catch a pass earlier.
But it's just unusual that such a simple offense, simple handoff right, handoff left, can be so effective.
Especially in high school, too, when there's not quite as much scouting, not quite as much film. If you can just execute the simple plays, you can be very successful.
Well, it's funny, when we talk to the other coaches around the city, they always talk about East Boston just being basic and solid.
Now on 2nd and 8, nice
Martinez.
cut. This time for Martinez down the sideline. Yeah. Touchdown, East Boston. Hector Martinez with a heck of a run.
Wow. He had just come off the sideline because he was in. Then he took a play off, then went right back in. So good job for Martinez. But again, starts with blocking. He had to have some room. See a fake inside. Now Martinez comes back to the right. Then once the cornerback misses him, one step inside and gets his 6 points.
Nine-play, 52-yard drive for the Jets. That was capped off by that Martinez touchdown run. So 3 different players for East Boston this evening scoring a touchdown. Jets now looking for their 3rd straight 2-point conversion. And it's Russo rolling out. He's wrapped up easily in the backfield.
They're trying for that option pass again, but just give credit. You see coming in, and well, initially
it was Michael Cruz.
But he missed the tackle, and then
Jerry Lopez got in there to clean it up.
Him off.
So the Jets with another touchdown drive. They're on top 22-0 over the West Roxbury Raiders, thanks to that over 20-yard touchdown run by Hector Martinez. Here's another look at it right here.
See, once he's missed by the cornerback and the safety gets kicked out, easy. Well, let's get a good run back here from West Roxbury. They need something to happen for them.
As we wait for the kickoff, let's take a look at the standings here in the Boston North. And as we mentioned, this is really the only league game this week. Nobody else has played a league game coming into tonight either. So you see Eastie, O'Brien, and West Roxbury all with wins in week 1 as Latin Academy, Brighton, and Tech Boston with a loss to open up the season. Squib kick. And another nice return here for Westy. Up to the 44-yard line, and that's Irvin Exelholm bringing it back for the Raiders.
Yeah, that was probably a little bit of a frustration run for Exelholm. He's wanted to get something done. It's
As we have some time now, we'll take a look at the Boston South Division. Neither team here tonight is in the South, but they have shuffled around the divisions a little bit. You see Burke, Charlestown, and Excel with wins as Madison Park, New Mission, and Boston English all with losses
New Mission,
in week 1.
Lost to Eastie, right? Yeah.
That's right.
14-6. Okay, Roaches now is going to split wide as a slot receiver. The big, really, it was a tight end, but now he's going to be a slot.
And it's Exelholm going to take the quarterback draw on first down. What a run from Irvin Exelholm up to the 37.
Well, like we said, we saw him last 2 years. We know what he's capable of doing. I mean, it's just, I think it's one of the things that's overlooked. Oftentimes when you move a player like this to a quarterback position, sometimes he gets stifled. If you don't have at least a handful of players to run just for him, you're just not going to see all of his talents. I mean, he was I remember watching him, and he would continually beat man-to-man coverage.
Sure.
A lot of times the ball just didn't get out to him, but he's a very good athlete.
Got good size, too. And if the last name sounds familiar, his cousin, Emmanuel Exelholm,
he was
one of the best players in the city last year for the O'Brien Tigers. So certainly has the skill set to do a lot of damage. The handoff up the middle here for the Raiders. Was that Roaches getting the carry?
It was.
I think it was, as he picked up some tough yards there.
Use that size.
We also got a flag on the play as AC Roaches got stood up. See what we have here as the side judge.
They're pointing at the Jets. Actually, he's pointing at both teams. So 2 guys must have been involved.
Personal foul. Number 3, White, late hit.
Oh, wow.
15 yards. We will replay the down.
Ronaldo Cameron whistled for the late hit. And that's another big penalty there for the Raiders. Penalties have hurt them here tonight. They've had a couple of false starts to 12 men on the field penalty.
The Exelholm 19-yard run got them started. Well, actually, the kickoff return was decent. He first down goes 19 yards and get a couple of yards from the big tight end. Now you get a 15-yard penalty, and you're back, first and 20 again? I don't know. This has got to be the frustrating. And what did Coach Wright say at halftime? Be under control.
Right. Haven't seen that so
They haven't
far.
seen it, no.
So 2nd down and 20 now for the Raiders. And Exelholm fumbles the snap. And I think the Jets might have recovered. There was a scrum for the ball. And it is East Boston football.
Well,
Richard Bynum getting in there to recover the fumble.
That's got to be the ultimate in frustration. They actually had a wide play set. Looks like Exelholm was going to try to pitch it wide. Never got full control of it.
There's no time left on the clock. I'm not sure if they have ended the quarter just yet.
They should have. Watch this, see, but he's going to pitch the ball. Couldn't get there. And East Boston is just quicker to the ball.
And it looks like we have a penalty on the Jets.
All right, so there'll be at least one more play in the quarter.
That's the end of the quarter.
Okay. All right.
Or not. So that'll do it here for the 3rd quarter at Sartori Stadium in Eastie as the Jets lead the West Roxbury Raiders 22-0. We're going to head to break. When we come back, we'll have the 4th quarter here on Game of the Week. 3 different players for the Jets scoring a TD, including that young man, Hector Martinez. We'll be right back, folks. Don't go away.
We just finished dinner and it was time for homework. He hates homework.
It makes no sense.
I don't know how he finds anything in his backpack.
I can't find my backpack.
I couldn't even read his handwriting.
Holding the pencil makes my hand hurt.
I know he's bright.
Why is it so hard for me?
He's
I'm
just
trying
gotta
as
try a
hard
little
as
harder.
I can.
When you can see learning and attention issues from their side, you can be on their side. Go to understood.org, a free online resource with support and tools to help your child thrive.
Welcome back to Sartori Stadium in East Boston as the East Boston Jets lead the West Roxbury Raiders 22-0.
Oh, you got one? Okay. All right.
as Eastie has scored 3 touchdowns so far here this evening, and we've got a sideline report from our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky. Seth, what do you have for us?
Thanks, guys. West Roxbury's Luis Pena is currently undergoing concussion protocol. He went off with about 3 or 4 minutes left in the quarter, hoping to get back in there, but right now it doesn't look good for the jack of all trades for West Roxbury.
Thanks very much, Seth. So as we suspected, Pena went off the field with a possible concussion, and I think that's why Coach Parziale whistled over the trainers, because anytime one of the football coaches sees that,
gotta have the protocol.
You got to have them get looked at. I think, football across the board still have a long way to go with concussions, but they've done a good job emphasizing the fact that kids have to get looked at if they have anything even close to a concussion. Right. They at least have to go through the protocol before they can even attempt at going back on the field.
Yeah, I think that one of the coaches just told Pena he won't be coming back. Well, I mean, right now I think it's a matter of pride for West Roxbury. I mean, they've had a very frustrating night on both ends of both sides of the football. West Roxbury get the football. Said it was a.
They also need to move. They also should move the ball the other side of the field. I don't know why they haven't.
Well, the thing is, there was a penalty, so the quarter shouldn't have ended. But you're right. The officials have not moved the football if they are going to end the quarter.
Because Westie, if they have the ball, should be going in the other direction.
Unless, did they give the... They take the fumble away?
I think there was an offside. I think there was an offsides on the Jets to end the quarter. So that shouldn't have ended the quarter, because the quarter can't end on a penalty. Right. So maybe now they are...
We had a late hit at the end of the play. Backed them up. Then we had offsides. Right? Right? Offside? Order it. We had the personal foul. The person. Right.
Then there was a personal foul and went
back 15.
Okay? And now they just ran the play. Okay? And there was offsides and usually moved the 5 yards forward.
Right, okay, so it's still first down.
Okay. Never change. Hey, I can't argue. You got 4 guys against 1.
No, it's...
You get earplugs.
Gotta have a sense of humor, right?
We discussed it, Coach.
At all times.
Without question. Coach Parziale, 4 sides against 1. Thinks. I love having that mic on the ref. We get to hear some great stuff down there.
Especially when they forget to have it.
Yeah, right.
That's the best time.
Because they don't know when it's up or not. That can be dangerous sometimes, but not with the ref.
Well, the thing is, yeah, exactly. I was going to say there's really no issue with any bad words or anything, because they normally, even without a mic, can be heard.
Sure.
Especially in some of the smaller stadiums.
Without question. So the Raiders now with the football at the East Boston 42, and nowhere to go with it as Kazume is wrapped up in the backfield. That's the first time we've seen Ismail really get.
Yeah, he had no. Well, the thing is, he had no forward momentum at all. Once in a while, he bobbled the ball. By the time he got hold of it, he got wrapped up.
Derek Bertucci. Oh, excuse me, not Derek Bertucci.
That's going to end the quarter, finally. So
that will
East
end
Boston,
the quarter.
I tell you, 22-0, and that's a big 2-2 because they've had full control of this game.
That's right. So that will be the end of the quarter here. We'll stay with the game as they switch sides, as they don't have very far to go. But the Jets, as usual, with the ground and pound. And we've seen some, as we mentioned before.
Well, how many years was Sousa here? Sousa was here like...
I believe about 13
Okay,
years.
you add the 8. And so that's over 20 years. Right, same system.
Of the same system, that's right.
And it works.
Both coaches like that squib kick when they kick
it's
the football
worked.
off.
We've seen it work for them quite well. Matter of fact, because a normal receiving formation usually has linemen up front, so the squib can bounce right off their shins, or if they try to pick it up, they may have gloves on or whatever.
I remember a game against, I think it was Brighton a couple of years ago. I mean, Brighton's been a very good team in the city, but probably one of the best teams in the city.
I remember that game. They broke the game open with 2 or 3 of them.
Brighton had a very inexperienced team at the time, and I think it was about week 2, and Easy just kept hitting that onside kick,
and recovering him, right.
And Brighton just couldn't field it. So now the Raiders with the football at the East Boston 45, 2nd and 18 for West Roxbury. Some more confusion with their receivers. Now the Pena's not out there. They probably got a couple of new guys in there. And half the offense thought the snap count was 1. Half the offense thought the snap count was 2.
False start. West Roxbury.
This is what I meant earlier when I was saying that some of the West Roxbury kids had their heads down and they're, lack of concentration, and you're just not sure what you're doing out there. And staying under control, like the coach said. I mean, they can learn something from this one. It's, like I said, how deceiving 52 points can be in your first week. Obviously, you're going to feel good about it. Pope John, a very small school in a different conference.
I think they actually dropped the football program recently and then brought it back.
Yeah, right.
So they're still sort of getting back to trying to get back to where they were a few years ago. But as you mentioned, 52 points is 52 points, and Westie did not expect to get shut out tonight. Exelholm over the middle, able to put some zip on it, but was not able to connect with Roaches.
Yeah, he had Roaches, a big tight end. Interesting. With all that size, they have him in the slot. I'd like to see him catch something over the middle. Have rumbling downfield. Yeah, that was a little too high. A lot of backup plays in there for East Boston, so you're not seeing any pass rush.
Third down and 23 for the Raiders. Exelholm again out of the shotgun. Has a little bit of protection going down the right side of the field, and Ortega dropped an interception.
I think he's out of bounds. He might have been out of bounds.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been in bounds anyway.
Well, like we said, Coach Wright for West Roxbury put Exelholm at the quarterback spot. He saw that he had a good arm for the last couple of seasons. And if you don't have anybody else ready, then you take one of your seniors, one of your senior leaders, and give them that responsibility.
You also wondered, too, if there is a younger player on this West Roxbury roster who Coach Wright might try to groom as the next quarterback.
That's
and maybe
possibly. Yeah,
by the end of the year.
Depending on how the season goes, right. Next couple of games.
You could move Exelholm back outside to receiver, or even as a running back if you have confidence in one of the younger guys under center. Just to get Exelholm the ball in some space, because we can see what he can do.
That's exactly what has to happen.
Raiders now with a 4th and 23, and once again early movement, and once again you see the frustration from Exelholm.
False start, 65, West Roxbury. Still 4th down.
Just wondering if part of these false starts by the linemen is they're just trying to get an edge, because they've been getting beaten up pretty much all night.
Sure.
A lot of pressure defensively whenever Exelholm goes back to pass. Not much room being made by the offensive line for the West Roxbury running backs. And 4th on the mile, just going to air it out.
You see Angelo Blake back as the deep safety. Raiders with a spread formation here on 4th and 28. Exelholm again can't handle the snap, and again It's a turnover on downs, and East Boston will take over at the 37. And now we have another flag at the end of the play.
So here.
Some words might have been exchanged there.
Extra home, so you can't. He's trying to look downfield, but never gets the chance to pick the ball up. And
dead ball after the play. Unsportsmanlike, number 7, 15 yards and first down.
Yeah, extra home must have been saying something as he walked off.
Now, right here, this is one of those times where Coach Wright might use this as a teaching moment for Exelholm, saying, listen, you're the quarterback, you're a senior, you can't be doing that type of stuff late in the game, despite how frustrating today has been. You know, they got here late, it's been raining, they haven't been able to score. They scored 52 last week. Certainly very frustrating, especially for a guy like Exelholm.
Talk about what difference a week makes. I mean, you think about it. You know, this time last week, they're flying high, scoring, touchdown, offense, defense. Yeah, they had down 3 scores and having a tough time getting the defensive alignment straight. To tell you the truth, Pat, with all this frustration, especially with Exelholm, I don't know. I might tend to even let him play some defense, just to feel like he's in the game. I mean, we saw him. He played defense last year. He played both safety and he played corner.
Right.
Really good athlete. No passing defense now, obviously, because East Boston's going to run the football. But let him still get his helmet in there, get a couple of tackles. But like you said, if there's no one else as backup right now, you can't afford to take that chance.
Yeah, you just really can't chance it. And Coach Wright mentioned that if he does get hurt, then Westy is in trouble at the quarterback position.
But guess who just came in?
And there we go.
He's going to play safety, though. He's going to play safety, which is usually safer.
And this time on the carry is Josh Rivera, the junior.
Did the ball come out?
The Jets. We'll take a look at the end of the run.
He might have been already down.
I think he's down there, and then
the ball was pulled out. The Exelholm, he's playing deep safety. He'll come up to cover a play, but he's not going to get into the real scrum. But we saw our standings, like we saw. One game, most of the games were non-division games other than this one, so not much to really take away from most of the city teams. It's a good job.
Second down.
They're getting that first push left. That left side for East Boston is really giving all 3 of their running back, all 4 of their running backs some good room tonight.
Yeah, Casey Vasquez getting the carry there, a pickup of 9.
Was she the 5th back now? Wow.
Once again, next man up for the East Boston Jets. We mentioned before, Javier Ruda, one of the top running backs for East Boston. At least they expect him to be this season. Got a little banged up, got a hip injury.
I hope he can come back because he.
Seth mentioned it's a reoccurring injury too.
Which is a shame because as a young player, you want to just be consistent enough to be able to finish the season.
Now on third down, the handoff over the left side. Looked like Vasquez again. And it should be enough for a first down.
Simple handoff again, off tackle. Gets pulled back, but his forward motion will give him the first down. Got the big sophomore lineman in there for East Boston also. Big number 79. That's Calix Chris. I'm sorry, he's one of the seniors, right? I was thinking of the other sophomore, 74.
Now on first down, over the right side, not a lot there for Hector Martinez, who is all of a sudden been thrust into duty tonight.
Right.
They had a touchdown
well,
run. And
the thing is, you can surely tell the difference for the backup lineman, right?
That's right.
There's not a whole lot of room going on, so the running backs are saying, this isn't how it was the first half.
Well, this has got to be a confidence boost for Dom Russo, who will go on to win his first 2
when
games
you think
as
about
a
it,
starting
that's
quarterback
right.
for the Jets.
You really can't understate that because, like we talked about, the last 3 or 4 seasons, they've had some continuity with
Jeff Benzon.
Yeah, Benzon was there.
Good handoff again.
Rivera.
That's going to be a touchdown for Josh Rivera of the East Boston Jets.
He actually ran through the attempt to tackle the Roaches, so there wasn't a 89 comes across, and yes, he just couldn't wrap him up. Got that head of steam. And we're thinking about what the other coaches around the city will think when they see the score. I mean, it's like, what happened out there?
Right. So Westy the first week, 52 this week. We'll see what happens with the last 5 minutes as rain really starting to come down again. A big mist. As the Jets convert the 2-pointer after the touchdown run by Josh Rivera. I believe it was number 25 there for the Jets, Andres Gonzalez with the carry.
There you go, 20. Yeah, good job. Gets hit at the goal line, but it sort of leans over, falls in for the touchdown, 2 points.
So the Jets now, after another touchdown and 2-point conversion, on top 30-0 here with 5:39 left in the fourth quarter at a rainy Sartori Stadium in Eastie. And for their home opener here at East Boston, very impressive.
Yeah, I was gonna
win.
say it's impressive because what you know your strengths are came through tonight, and just like you said about the quarterback, that's a good indication that he can just sort of manage the game.
Now we also, Russo did have the interception earlier, but
he was hit.
Also,
it was a fourth down play. Plus, he was hit on the play. So
plus, you got some
you can give him a break on that one.
But he also had some 2 nice completions. One was for a big first down. As here you see the return from the Raiders up to the 35-yard line.
That's one of the few things the Raiders have done well tonight. The kickoff returns, they've gotten good efforts. Haven't had any problem fumbling the ball.
And Michael Cruz on the return.
Just looking for some room. Exelholm, nice block. Now for the young guys from West Roxbury, they just want to get on the board. They just want to score.
Right.
Before the game's over.
They don't want to leave here with that 0.
I think coaches understand that part too. They understand that that's just, you're bringing a lot of emotion into it. You've been getting sort of pushed around on both sides of the ball all night, so you want to come out of here with something.
Yeah, rain falling hard now at our Sartori Stadium.
It's going to make the passing very difficult for Exelholm. Delay a game, I think. We got 12 guys again.
Right. West Roxbury, 5 yards, first down. 2, 4.
Well, first and 15.
That's been one of the big problems here for the Raiders especially. They just haven't been able to, even after a first down, even after a nice play, they get backed up 5 yards because of a penalty. And they haven't been able to get any type of rhythm offensively.
I'd say ever since the first drive where they got inside the 20-yard line.
That's right.
They got that. They had that 5-yard penalty that prevented them from keeping the drive alive. No, Exelholm was counting the guys himself.
Now the Raiders taking
a big out of the huddle.
Decent amount of time in this
timeout.
huddle.
They need a timeout.
Well, as we figure out what's going on here with the Raiders, Seth Orensky's got an update for us. Seth?
Guys, more bad news for this West Roxbury side. Their center, Joseph Costigan, may have broken his nose. I think he's going to be a precautionary scratch the rest of the game. Jerry Lopez is now in at center for the remainder of the game. Guys?
Thanks very much, Seth. So from bad to worse here for the Raiders.
Broke his nose. Boy, I wonder if his chin strap came off, because they all wear those the helmet with the the thick mask, but
now on 1st and 15, it's Exelholm rolling to his right. Makes a nice cut again, and Exelholm makes his way up to the 46.
Nice, 12 yards? Good job. Well, Exelholm did. Now, this is a design run for him. One of the few we've seen called today. Good cut. With that little agility, and finishes off strong. So the 1st and 15 will now be a 2nd and 3.
One thing for Wesley, they just haven't strung together first down, so they can pick up a first down here, get some momentum going. Now on 2nd and 4, it's Exelholm going down the right side of the field, and definitely put the ball out there, but good coverage from the Jets. Exelholm looking for
Omo?
Polawoli Omo.
Omo, yeah. Now, Omo's one of their speedsters, so they actually put it a little too far, but Omo triple covered. Well, coming into the game, Omo, like you said, he had the huge game last week. He had 2 big runs, but he also had the pick 6. So clearly, Omo's one of their better skill guys.
Yeah, Polawoli.
They've actually targeted him a number of times today. Just haven't been able to complete much.
Yeah, Cola, for 3 years, hadn't been able to play football, and now in his senior season has been able to get on the squad for the Raiders, and they really like his skill set. He just needs to get a little more experience. There you see Exelholm going down the left side of the field and almost intercepted by East Boston. Is number 89 for the Jets, Noah Shiner, with a chance of picking that up.
Try to make a play on the ball. Looks like with all the air under it, I think the water, the rain, just pulled it back toward the middle of the field. The sophomore receiver out there, Keonis. Got 4th and about 3. Another run by Exelholm to get the first down would help. Hate to see teams get shut out.
You never want to see it.
Especially early in the season, where you have so much hope for the year, and
big divisional game.
Yeah, this is the fact. This is the first city game.
So 4th and 4 now for the Raiders. We'll see if they can pick up this first down. Try to get into Jets territory. All-out blitz there for the Jets. Here comes Exelholm, making another nice cut, but he was tripped up well short of midfield. And
a couple of Jets ran into each other.
Yeah, one of the Jets is hurting. Down on the ground.
You see they gets flushed out, pushed all the way back about 20 yards. Makes a good effort here, run, and then he gets tripped up.
Yeah, Robert Catroni got
he had to get
undercut.
He had to get all the way to the to midfield and came up a yard short. Yeah, well, Petroni is one of the guys in pursuit.
Well, we have the time. Hopefully Robert Petroni is going to be okay down there as they take a look at him. Next week, we'll be back at White Stadium on Friday, September 22nd at 6 p.m. as the Boston English Blue Eagles take on the Jeremiah Burke Bulldogs. Of course, it's going to be live on Boston City TV. You got Comcast, it's channel 24. You got RCN, it's channel 13. So make sure you tune in next week as English takes on Jeremiah Burke over at White Stadium.
Yeah, we're getting into the full city schedule now.
Boy, that rain is coming down hard as they see some of the Jets concerned for their teammate. Yeah, it looks like Catroni's got a pretty significant knee injury there. Hopefully it's not too serious. Sometimes they go back and look at it. It's not quite as severe as you initially think.
Precaution, precaution, precaution. Yes, that's what you have to have, especially in high school football. Yeah, and all football really, but especially high school, Pop Warner, any youth leagues. You know, Pat, what you were talking about with the quarterback for East Boston, I think he's still in the game, and for good reason. I mean, obviously it's a win, but you're right. Any snaps he can take will sort of help his confidence and help his experience.
Now on first down, another nice carry that time from Andres Gonzalez, senior back.
There you go, simple handoff. Gonzalez, like you said, getting some time. Nice cut. Good gain on first down. That's how it's been all night.
Gonzalez getting a 2-point conversion earlier in the quarter. The Jets came into the season sort of not necessarily worried about their starters. They know they had some front-end guys like Ortega, some of the linemen, Pat Aiken. But Coach Parziale and his staff weren't sure about the depth on this team. And in games like this, you see some of the younger guys playing, getting some more varsity experience despite the score. And now we got some frustrated Raiders out there right now.
Hand off again.
After the play.
He's going to get a first down.
Dead ball after the play. Unsportsmanlike, 55. Unsportsmanlike, 60. Hey. Who is headbutting? 60? Were you headbutting him?
Not sure you expect an answer on that, but
I don't think any player's going to volunteer.
Right.
Wind the clock. Here we go.
Yep. Throw me out.
I was the one with the late hit. Yes,
have the coach throw me out.
Yeah.
Because he actually did take him out. Now he's trying to hide behind his teammates.
Making sure he's at a sight line of John Parziale. Just saw a couple of fans braving the elements here tonight. There's another nice run there for Andres Gonzalez.
They've got to be a relative, right?
Oh, they must be.
They have to be relative.
That's how my relatives were in basketball when I didn't get in till the end. Even with the blowout, they had to stay the whole game to see if I could get in.
Well, I mean, you asked a question about depth, and I mean, West Roxbury's has had a tough night all around, but from East Boston standpoint, you got to feel okay. You didn't see any glaring mistakes from because when a backup player, underclassmen mainly, when they come into a game not expecting to play much, maybe special teams, but then you're thrown in from scrimmage, you're getting repeated opportunities. All you want to do is stay with the system.
And some more early movement up front.
I think that's offside on. That's going to be a false start on East Boston.
False start, 78.
Yeah, a lot of backup players.
That's all right. Don't want.
Clock is going to keep winding. 1:45 to go. Good win for East Boston. Home opener. opening to the City League season for them. New quarterback. The running game is solid, as we knew. And I think from the coach's standpoint, they've got to be happy with how some of these new offensive linemen have played. You knew the two guys you mentioned before, the veterans, they're going to be solid. But to be able to get that movement up front like they have all night, that's got to be a good sign for them. Because East Boston, even though they're considered high-powered offense, they like to play very basic. So, again, you see the backup running back getting a few yards. So the clock winds down under a minute now. So we have an idea of what East Boston has. I mean, they
sure. Not that it's unfamiliar the way that they win these games.
Right. Well,
once they get
ahead, it's they feel like they're in full control. Your point's well taken, though. They didn't see a whole lot of the passing game. Didn't really need to tonight, but they did win a close game last week, a one-score game. So moving into some of the tougher teams in the city, this is a confidence building, no matter how you look at it.
Without question, anytime you start a season 2-0, 1-0 in the league, and Coach Parziale said, because nobody else is playing a league game tonight, if they can get that one league game win up on everybody else, they're in the driver's seat.
You'll be on that first line.
They'll be sitting in first place. So that's your final here at Sartori Stadium. The East Boston Jets take down the West Roxbury Raiders 30-0 here at Sartori Stadium. Very good ground attack from Eastie as usual. Brandon Ortega got things going, but a lot of different backs got into the mix there for the Jets. And as we mentioned before, just a lot of the same for East Boston. And, when they get to closer games, I think Ortega's obviously going to play a little bit more than he did in this one. But very impressive first half for him, and just a very impressive overall first game of the league game of the season. For the Jets.
It's so important, like you mentioned, for a home game and league game. So for all the teammates of Ortega, they know he's the main guy, and they know that every opposing team is going to try to bottle him up. So for him to be able to break out so early,
right,
and get a touchdown their first drive, put them in the driver's seat. Then also come back the second drive and have some nice runs. It really you can't underestimate how important that is to settle everybody down.
Right.
Okay, this is our regular stuff. This is what we do in practice all the time.
Sure.
Okay, this is going to work. And in football, it's very, very important. People talk about that same thing with a point guard in basketball,
right,
or a pitcher in baseball. It's true. Once your main guy gets off to a good start, he's feeling good, and gets you into a lead, then you just coach. Just like I said, at halftime when it was 16-0, I said that 16 might as well be 26 because the way they were playing, that's how it goes.
And certainly when you run the ball like that, you chew up the clock, and that's what they did throughout this ball game. Eastie controlled most of the clock in this one, and that's why they were able to get out of here with a 30-0 win over West Roxbury, their first win in the league so far here in 2017. Folks, we're going to head to break. When we come back, we will have our final stats and the Game of the Week MVP right after these words. Don't go away.
When I was 6, my days were spent playing basketball. When I was 6, my dream was to make it to the NBA. When I was 6, my mom had a stroke. I'm Paul George, and I want you to spot a stroke fast. F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. Protect the ones you love. Spot a stroke fast.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
It's a beautiful day out here. Sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90 miles per hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it. Let's go.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Got a quarter?
Thank you. You got a king?
Go fish.
It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can stop to make sure someone is okay.
We can warn someone when their drink isn't safe.
And disrupt the situation. We can.
Get someone a cab.
Or walk them home safely.
We can make campuses safer for our friends.
Our roommates.
Our classmates. Our fellow human beings.
We cannot be bystanders.
We can. Intervene.
It's on us.
All of us.
Learn how and take the pledge at itsonus.org.
Look at you. You're at the top of your game. You're unstoppable. Nothing can throw you off track. Wait, is that your car? Uh-oh. Yeah, I saw that coming. That will throw you off track. You're looking at around 10 grand in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Let's try this again. Smart move. Because buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education. What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you. You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. Gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah. It's so wet. Oh, with the groove, show proof, keep it smooth as I bust the move. Where you step in swiftly, with me keep up. If not, just stop, pop a squat, put your feet up, read up, pay attention, listen to the melody. Remember what you heard, got my words to the spell of me. Top notch, got them all jumping like hopscotch, or jumping rope like double dutch in the air. Show me what you got, keep it hot like the heater. You thinking you a treat, cause you're sweet, but I'm sweeter. Leader of the pack, cause they all stay behind me. I'm old school, you don't skip tracks, you rewind me. Find me, working on my craft.
Welcome back to Sartori Stadium in East Boston. At the conclusion of Game of the Week, the East Boston Jets blanked the West Roxbury Raiders 30-0. A lot of players getting some touches tonight, carrying the football. 4 different guys scored a touchdown for East Boston here this evening, but as you mentioned, things got going with Brandon Ortega, who we knew was going to be the feature back tonight for the Jets, and he is down on the field with Coach Parziale and our sideline reporter, Seth Orensky. Seth, take it away, pal.
Joined by our MVP, Brandon Ortega, and head coach John Parziale. Brandon, 16 rushes for 161 yards. What were you aiming to do today against one of your big rivals in Boston North?
Well, I mean, it's our first league game, and we came into this game, trying to execute all our game plan. Really, like Coach says, we had to really block down and tackle, run between the tackles, find outside, and find daylight.
You had one of the biggest plays of the game, a 60-yard run on that first drive to take the lead. They never scored, so that was the game winner. What did you see on that play?
On that play, I just seen, daylight outside. I just went. I just took off.
Javier Arruda is one of the guys who normally is one of your backups. He went down early, and we saw a lot of the other guys who were capable of carrying the ball. How much depth do you have at running back this year?
Well, I mean, as you can see, I wasn't the only one that punched it in the end zone, so we couldn't do it without him. So I think we're pretty deep at running back.
Congratulations on a great game. Turn it over to Coach Parziale. Coach, obviously the 30 points are great, but last week it was West Roxbury scoring 52 points. This week, a big 0 on the scoreboard. What can you say about your defense's performance today?
Overall, the defense played well. We contained their quarterback, was very explosive, and we did a good job corralling him. We're still tackling a little high. We need to get better with our tackling, and I think Brighton poses a bigger challenge even next week.
1-0 in Boston North, though. You're the only team that can say that. How does that feel going into that big matchup against Brighton?
It's always good. This was supposed to be an out-of-league week, and we were open, and Westy was open, and we decided to play this week, and we have a bye week later in the year, and so we got to jump ahead of things. But it's not over. 1-0 doesn't mean much. We're gonna enjoy it tonight, and we're gonna get back to work. And like I said, Brighton, they're the defending champs, and they're a very good team. They're well coached, so we have to come to play and give it our best shot because they're very good.
Well, it wasn't just one or two guys today. It was the whole group. Congratulations to the Jets on a 30-0 victory.
Let's get it. Always like when they do the group shots there at the end of the MVP interview. So certainly Brandon Ortega mentioned it. A lot of guys scored tonight, not just him. But as we saw, he can do a lot of different things as a running back. He can take it the distance. He can pound it inside and get to the outside. We didn't see him catch the ball at all tonight, but we've seen him do it before.
Right. One of their favorite plays with him is the screen pass.
Right.
Didn't throw one tonight, so they didn't need to either. But you gotta like his attitude. Very soft-spoken, sort of humble almost. But he knows he's the main part of that engine.
Right. I think he also knows once in a while he does need a breather, so he needs another guy to come in and carry the load. And I think that's what's going to happen later on this season. Let's take a look at our final stats from this ball game before we sign off from East Boston.
Yeah, for West Roxbury, more of the same from the first half. Just nothing on the ground. Didn't get much push up front from the offensive line. Exo home, 35 yards. Most of that, the 19-yard carry he had in the fourth quarter.
Right.
Presume started out okay in the first quarter, but then took some losses, ended up with 15 yards, and then Exo home actually ended up with no completions at all.
Let's take a look at Eastie's final stats.
I'd say it's all over the place. You get Ortega, talked about his 161 and his touchdown. Blake came off the bench. Blake was like the third back, I think, third or fourth back. He got 38 yards on 3 carries. Meanwhile, receiving only 2 catches, but they were both big. Rivera's was for a first down on a 3rd and long, and then the one from Aiken actually set up a 3rd and short to turn into another first down and another score. So passing 2 for 4 for 21 yards doesn't really sound a lot, but the 2 completions were actually key plays to keep drives alive.
That's right, 2 big completions, 2 big first downs for Russo. And as we mentioned, that's got to be a confidence boost for him coming in this week as an inexperienced quarterback.
At some point,
they're
going to need to throw the ball.
That's
At some point, and I think Coach Pazziali realizes that. So you're right. And I think that's why they let him stay in the game to the end.
Right.
Usually, when a lot of the backup guys are going in, take everybody out. But he just needs snaps. Because he's, like you said, he's taken over, and it's like a mindset you have to be the quarterback, the leader, and the players, sort of rally around you. So this is a good night for them all around.
Yeah, it's certainly nice to have Brandon Ortega to hand it off to as well. And we'll see if Russo, I think, is probably going to develop a lot over the course of the season, and that will certainly determine how East Boston does throughout the year and possibly in the postseason as they've made it so many times. Folks, you want to watch this game again, you can certainly go to our website, www.cityofboston.gov/game of the week. All the games from this season so far, it's been 2 so far, are up there. You can also watch BNBL games from the summer. A lot of good stuff up there, so make sure you check out our website. Follow us on Facebook. Search for Game of the Week here in Boston. We got a lot of different links, videos, updates, pictures. Which games we're going to be covering are also going to be popping up there as well, so make sure you like us on Facebook. You can also follow us on Twitter at Boston City TV. And if you want to tweet at us, use the hashtag BostonGOW. I want to thank our crew who sat through the rain-soaked Sartori Stadium here today. They did a great job, as always. And we want to thank you for joining us here on Game of the Week. We'll see you next time, folks. Take care.